Stardate 2404.6, 80605.2, June 5th, 2404. The Chimera is called an Aquarius planet, last contacted in 2396, Sigma Iotia, which lies in the Rebel Terra sector of Mezak space. The Sigma Iotians are an imitative people that over a century ago adopted Terran mob culture of the 1920s, but as reported on the Fontana mission, on their last mission in 2396, had become more like Terran post-atomic street mob culture. Since the Prime Directive was again broken, when we left last time, there's no telling what they've changed into in the past 7 years. Dr. Tiabi, report. I can confirm that changelings from the Dominion have been to the planet, and they're probably there.
Nobody has heard of them this far out in several years, ever since Odo left.
They have a treaty, right? They did, but it appears they've broken it. Their leader has gone missing. The last place she was headed was in that direction. What should we expect on this planet? We understand they are imitators. They take pride in pretend, but it's a deadly kind of it. The last Federation ship here was the DC Fontana in 2396, but shortly after that, the space plague happened, and we were all asked to return to the fleet. We had been sent to planets to be locked down until it was over. The Chimera before this one was lost during the battle to reclaim Sillian Earth from President Coddle's threat that year.
We literally lost 2 years of history in that cosmic cluster bang. That was also when Evan Matthews turned on us, or tried to, in the last minute. If he shows up again, I'll have to give him a piece of me mind.
We cannot cause a problem down there if he's down there. Let me talk to him.
He isn't, is he?
I'm not sure. We're not there yet. No sign of Sillians like him just yet. We need to be prepared for anything. Scans indicate their culture now copies something like ours, and they have developed starships. We must find out how that is possible, and if so, what they plan to do with them.
I have an idea what they'd be for. They're derisive, mob culture, so they use them as weapons of war.
We can't allow them to go around pretending to be Starfleet and getting into trouble. They could start intergalactic wars. That'd be horrible. We must find a way to prevent such a thing. But if they've already been contaminated by the appearance of the last ship, they're under the Prime Directive and the Temporal Directive. I just hope they don't start a war. And what are we going to do about the cadets? We can't just leave them up here. The Pickerleys, or what they call the Rikers in Star Trek, put us in charge when they left. Command people should not beam down into a hostile environment, but our younger officers should not be sent down either. One officer or two, and the cadets, when it is determined safe down there. That might be messy, like when I was in my 20s on the Cerritos. Dismissed. Everyone to the bridge. Captain, you're just in time.
Oh boy, here we go again. It's great to be back, but stop looking like that. Sorry, I just love the idea of going to a planet where they're play actors. Play actors with machine blasters and various weapons.
Sounds like a real classy gin joint. You can't drink yet, only synthol.
I know that. He's here.
Let's go to work. Welcome to the bridge, Mr. Critical Vitriol.
Well, good day, Captain. I wish this little outing was under better circumstances. Maybe you could come to the Outlands sometime and see some real action.
Critical Vitriol, you're the liaison. The fleet is desperate.
Yeah, they are. Especially after the bored children and Sillian Dominion incident. But I'm the one for the job, because Swearing Man is one of me people. If he's there, I can contact him. So when do we leave?
I'm in command here, Vitriol. If you get out of line, your superiors are to detain you and order you back to the ship.
Oh, where's the fun in that? You want me to go down there with him, Captain? I had some dealings with him.
Not at first. If it comes to that, we'll have you go down there. For now, I'd like the junior officers to go there and check it out. See if it's safe.
Yes, Captain.
I'm always eager.
You would be.
If you send down your helmsman and your navigator, wouldn't that be a problem? I'm sure she thought of that. We aren't expecting to fly anywhere soon, so it should be fine. Captain, the Starship DC Fontana is adrift and abandoned nearby. One of us will have to look later. Prepare the landing party.
This should be fun. Make it so. Well, what sort of hot mess have we come into? I do not like it. You usually don't. There's somebody that kind of looks like Cito. I am Lieutenant Roshenko of the Starship Chimera A. We're Federation, and we've returned to the planet looking for survivors from the DC Fontana and any local leaders. We understand that you were left here about 8 years ago. Come out. We will not harm you. Ah, come on. They're not going to be diplomatic. On the other hand, Starfleet, I know diplomacy, and you're no envoy. Who sent you? The trailed captain, Ezri the Khan. Don't listen to this blowhard. I'm the one you want to talk to about the action. Want to come to me, and I'll show you.
Don't pay them any mind. I've been stuck here for a long time listening to the drone, but not for 7 years. For me, it's been a few months.
Captain Amanda Rumbly. We may need to contact the ship. Seems we have a situation again.
Commander Rumbly. Yeah, I refuse to be promoted again.
The doll doesn't take any lip.
No, doll is Emily Sandstone. I keep telling you that. Oh, never mind.
Hey, weren't you and Cal Hazel dating last we checked?
Almost, but the space plague happened. And for 4 years we were separated by whole planets. Seemed like 8. I've seen him off and on during other missions. Nothing happened.
She's one of the legendary Sillians.
I am. Well, yes, I am.
She's so convincing. I would ramble on about how that wouldn't work in any number of my flippin' pictures I made. I'll tell you.
I was just testing you, yes. Honestly, though, I've never used my powers.
That's because you never had the opportunity, am I right?
Well, I suppose, but don't get any funny ideas.
We came here to get some answers, even if it's ridiculous for us to go and meet the leaders of the planet. It's like on all these missions, it's predicated on us just meeting up with them. Well, I'm not yet impressed. So, yeah, here we are, yous guys, and we're thinking up this here mob story, see? Yeah, so why don't you go into town and figure out what these other blokes is doing over here? Yeah. We're here to learn about your planet and how it has changed since our last visit. Seems these Starfleet people is up to no good. See, they want a piece of our action. Well, you know. I've seen some of your long-winded mob movies, so that makes you an expert, I guess. I'm a fan of movies also. Rant on blogs, so it makes sense I'd be asked to help. Well, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you want a piece of our action? Only if you were really interested in feet or something. Then you'd be really interested in feet. Why, you caboozle.
Anyway, yeah, why would I even know what that means?
I don't know, but you don't want to see that. Well, you can take us to somewhere important. Well, the boys here are going up the river to check out the one scene over there. Seems to get the funny-looking character with him, yeah.
I think it's called a Klingon or something.
Oh, yeah, Klingon, yeah. These guys are going to go up the river to the club to see if the speakeasy is open. Because you never know what the speakeasy is, because of all the prohibitions and stuff. Don't tell me this planet is outlawed alcohol like in the 1920s.
I don't think that's it. I think they're just using phrases from the 20s.
But it stands to reason they would just be using phrases. It looks like we found a place. It looks somehow bohemian. I didn't know you knew about that. I am well versed in the literature of ancient humans. They would be influenced by later iconography. The postmodern movement, leading centuries from this architecture, was heavily parodied from the original 1600s style in the 1900s through the early 2100s. It's very cool to be retro. I see. This art looks more avant-garde. I prefer Kincaid. Really, I pegged you more as a Monet man. I find Dorothy a little too abstract. Yes, what were you saying? Don't ask Kirayoshi. He mistook a Warhol for a Rockwell. How did you do that? I flunked the Academy art class. Oh, wait a minute, wasn't your mother teaching that art class? That's why. She didn't play favorites. I would like your best imitation of Captain Morgan, please. Rum neat. It's like whiskey, only it's not quite as hoppy. Well, sure, you can drink the demon rum if anyone wants to. Yes, we're just pretending here. Yes. I will have a grapefruit juice. Okay, rum and a grapefruit juice coming up. What? This purple stuff is not grapefruit juice. Well, there's no grapefruit trees on the planet, so we had to use the next best thing. We imported a tree that kind of vaguely looks like a grapefruit, but it isn't. The tricorder scan of this fruit indicates that it's more like a pomegranate. Fascinating. Is it edible? Yes, it will not harm you. Ugh. I think I'll try a sake. Sake? Ugh, after a shot of rum? Well, let me see. Rice wine. Yes, please. Perhaps Alexander would like to try some fermented wheat bran clear liquid. Vodka, really? You think I would drink vodka? What, no blood wine? Yes, I will have blood wine. We have some of that. Here you go. It's strong stuff. Be careful with it. This is a bottle of 2309. How did your planet obtain such a rare vintage? Maybe they cloned it. One more for your friend. Very well. Kapla. Your Klingon is improving. Really? No, I was exaggerating. Kapla. On my mark. 1, 2, 3. 3. You two are going to be very drunk. The big boss wants to go see you guys. But you go over there and we're going to meet with him. But don't worry, he ain't going to whack you, nothing. I see. The big boss will no doubt want to know what we're up to, will he not? Yeah, that's why we're going to go see him. Yeah, lead the way. You've got to be kidding. Well, we didn't expect to find you here. You did not. You're welcome to Sigma Iotian, the most innovative planet in the galaxy. It's probably an excellent spin-off of the amusement park planet. That's my guess, but we haven't been able to prove that. They aren't omnipotent like the preservers. They seem to be. What do you want here? What did you take over? And more oddly, how? Sillian persuasion? Oh, so the action title reference. Yes, a piece of the action. That's what it is. Oh, well, things will happen. Great things. Wonderful things, if you cooperate. We're a Starfleet crew visiting from a Federation ship. Your society shouldn't be part of this because of the Prime Directive, as it is not as advanced as Starfleet. Yes, it appears the other groups from your general vicinity helped us update our technologies and things. Yeah, speakers and squawkers, even a few heaters, even a few boob tubes. What is a boob tube? I hope it is not something dirty. We'll get flagged by YouTube. A television set, an old Earth broadcast device, like a view screen.
All this is based on McCoy leaving his transtector communicator behind on the planet centuries ago. They must have figured out how to reverse engineer it.
Yes and no. It appears that other influences arrived shortly after the Ventura or the Enterprise first visited this planet. They were the ones that changed things. We must endeavor to figure out who or what came here first, for what purpose, and what end. So you see, we're here since the Fontana left or went away, so we made it do so, and left behind the crew, see? Maybe we should show them the stash. We can't do that, boss. We can't show them the stash. Then they'll know what we got. I'm the boss around here. Go and show them the stash. Only enough of it, so they knows what we got. Okay, boss. You're the boss. This planet is ridiculous. I don't know. I kind of like it. You would. Take these guys and the doll to the vault and show them the stash, like I said.
I'm not the doll. That's Emily Sandstone.
I don't know no Emily, but does she wear open shoes? I really like open shoes. Stop with your foot fetish. We don't have time for that. Show them. Oh, frack it. Behold, the stash. Is that what I think it is? Interesting. It appears they have collected several different alien artifacts. From the Pakleds, the Klingons, the Ferengi, even the Founders, and the Karakitans and Bangalore. Apparently somebody dropped off their junk here. Maybe they tried to sell them something after they used the transducer communicator to bring various people here. That's kind of what happened. So we brought various people to this planet by way of our communication device. You know, it was easier than building a bunch of spaceships. But you attempted to build a bunch of spaceships. Well, yeah, but our rocketry technology was still primitive and inefficient. We nearly blew ourselves up several times, but we did succeed in making a dirigible balloon. It did not reach orbit. What explains the other ships and vessels that came here? Surely they had those. Well, then they changed tactics, you see. They started to wait for the other ships and shuttles to show up, and then they took a piece of their action, so to speak. Well, somebody would land a shuttle down here and we'd take it. Yeah. Next thing you know, we had a Starship at one point. They even brought it to a base in orbit, and a station thing. Well, it used to be kind of a ship, but we commandeered it, using the heaters that we got from the other guys. What were they called? The Romulans or something? The Romulans, oh dear. Sounds like they've been stockpiling enough information and things to cause a major panic in the universe. We have a situation here. Yes, if they use the technology to destroy other planets or races, it'd be bad. Close the door. We're a peaceful society just as long as everybody else is peaceful. Yeah. Going around mob rushing the universe is not a way to run things. You're going to run afoul with the aliens that are more advanced than you, and they'll just kick your butts. I've been trying to tell them that. They won't listen. Yeah, swearing man gets out and starts cussing them out.
And that is of no help.
Well, you see, there's other stuff other than the stash. We developed flying vehicles, even spaceships based on retro-engineering the technology. We even created atomic weapons, far advanced than what we should have. You should investigate that. We was very good at the technology, see? And so we come up with some copies of manuals on how to make the bombs and stuff. We even made aircraft. But when space vessels showed up, we switched to that and skipped over it. Which means you weren't ready for those advances. We should notify the ship. And since we got a little buzzed back there, we might be slightly uninhibited. Let us go. Behold, our brainy leader person, conjured by the technology to help our tech.
Alton Indigo Soong? How?
The planet provides such things? Yes, otherwise we would devolve into tribal warring factions and kill each other in days. How else would we have functioned? You see, they should keep us from killing each other, for real. Yes, the scans do not indicate a large buildup of radiation in this area. However, there are also trace elements of it. Perhaps we should investigate that. They probably don't know how to properly shield radiation devices. It will cause an awful mess. The planet has devices that could destroy their cities, and yet they have some of them just lying around. Ironically, they are too trusting of their own, and think they will not use the weapons. The most dangerous person is one who does not know how to use a weapon, and uses it anyway. Nobody can just swipe the monuments. They got security features on them, see? This one has a simple pad key lock, and no one ever picked it. Nope.
They might as well use confetti bombs.
We do. The last guy that walked off with my package from Space Amazon got a coat full of glitter all over his pinstripe suit. I believe that the weapon they have constructed is crude at best. If they armed it, they would end up probably radiating their entire city in the process without ever launching it. Would just simply irradiate the entire city.
That'd be incredibly reckless. I didn't realize there was so much so.
We must figure out what they have, these things. And what they do. I mean, what are they? What are they going to do with them? I mean, we need to ask. They need to have background checks or something. They're going to end up hurting someone. Well, the Federation hasn't been here for 8 years, so it's kind of a problem. Except for Rumbly. She just got here, I guess.
That's true. It was a little while ago. I was hoping, Hazel might come here looking for me. But he hasn't shown up yet.
You didn't try to contact Hazel, did you?
Well, I figure as a Sillian, he would just show up on his own with his Q-like powers.
This is almost as silly as the Grice and Ob mission. Oh, Grice and Ob. Yeah, we have one of those. A funny sphere-like thing that makes changelings possible or something. Well, I've never played with it firsthand. Nope, not me. Never done it. You what? You have one? Where is it? Grice and Ob. Yeah. Yeah, it makes changelings into solids back again like magic. How do they know that? This is a good question. How do they know? But they weren't by chance in contact with a Sillian from the Dominion recently, right? Well, Odo, who was the Deep Space Force security guy, was here 6 years ago. So maybe they did. But I doubt that he would mention it. It was a secret device they had. We were very inventive and creative. We might have invented something like it. They invented it. How? Their technology isn't even remotely like that. How would they have invented it? Enough talk. No swearing, man. Don't tell them all about that kind of stuff. Must remain a secret. We have technologies here that are far advanced. We shouldn't talk about that.
So they're on the level of the Federation and just pretending not to be.
I guess that's why Captain Kirk was here and didn't, prevent them from continuing their climb toward advanced society, because they were already there, in secret, behind the scenes.
Maybe that's what's going on.
So you see, we gotta check it out. You gotta look around, and now we want to look around your ship. And then maybe we can make a deal. It is possible that we could make a deal. Just not saying it should be right now. I'm not the captain. What do you say? Take me to Yolita? In time, perhaps we could. Today's gonna give us the double cross, yeah. They're gonna trick us and take the stuff, the stash. You can't let them take the stash. Puh, don't be absurd. The other stash is hidden. Yeah, they knows too much. We might have to put them on ice or in cement boots. But nobody does that. Besides, we're all out of cement. There's a shortage, Yeah, ever since the space plague, we can't get all the people to work in the cement factory. So yeah. Did he say what I think he said? The space plague.
He did say the space plague. That is interesting out here. Well, kind of makes sense, though, because the Fontana was here, so yeah.
Rumbly, do you know what's going on here? She better spill the beans, see? She better sing like a canary, see? Don't be stupid, swearing man. I've had just about this much lip from you.
I know a little. I know that we didn't start the plague. We never found out specifically where it started. I was on the trail of something. It featured a version of the plague, a variant originating on the planet Nepotizga.
Pickerly or Riker's planet. That is weird. But then it was also on Sillian Earth, and this President Coddle had a bunch of it stashed away so that he could give it to his enemies who lived on their version of the planet.
Then he claimed they engineered it, even though that's not what happened. What happened is that several Sillians wished it to happen by accident.
Where is this President Coddle now? Oh, he's quite dead. Heard he got hold of a rocket ship, and he flew off to the planet Mars when he arrived, And that Mars is devastated since the Mars attacks. Get it? Mars attacks? Well, then he arrived there. He jumped out of the ship, thinking he could breathe, and he got iced, literally. Frozen solid like an ice block. You're sick. This whole thing may be a bad investment. Starfleet people may be up to no good. They may be after our stash. Yeah, they may be after it. We may have to ice them. Look, no one's going to get iced, and there are no stool pigeons around here, see? Oh, I don't know. The shuttle ship that brought you down here, we could put all the bodies in there real good. Okay. Stop suggesting that you're going to dispatch us. Nah, we's just joshing with you, yes.
Can you show us your version of the Grecian Ob?
Oh, no, that would be real special. We can't show you the relics. We can only show you the stuff like the book from the 20s and the on-location books that came later, as well as the Diary of Wendy McKinley. We can show you that stuff.
Diary of who? Oh, no.
He did say Wendy McKinley, didn't he? But there's a TV show. Yeah, she's a character on a TV show on the Miriam planet. And popular on the Andover planet, isn't she? No, she's not. She's real. We met her on the other planet, the Miriam planet. Oh dear, so there's a Miriam planet, and the other planet, and the girl shows up out of the blue. She's right into reality from fantasy. What happened there? Well, you see, the people from Andover ship had been raised on the Generation ship to Far Out. To have this book is one of their books, too. And the characters in it were descended from those other ones from the story, or mimicking it. The legendary stories of Pine Hill and Andover, and of the legendary stories of Wendy McKinley, which is why it became a popular show as well. And once they finally arrived at the planet, they simply settled there.
Yeah, and the Miriam planet started watching the show too, and they liked it a lot. They carried on. Yes, we know the story.
Oh, their boob tube, yes. You know TV, right? Everything rots your brain. They said it about bleeping radio and frickin' television. The blasted videos of little furry kittens on the computer.
Oh yes, cat videos will turn you into a pile of blubbering mush.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna show them the thing as a gesture of goodwill between us. And in turn they will show us their slipstream engines. Seems fair. Share some of that quantum tech, like the torpedoes. Head this way. We cannot give them that. It isn't up to us, but I'm sure the captain will think of something. She's good at that. You decided to show us your prized possession, and yet you leave it out in the open. Who else but a founder would know what it is? I give you the piece de resistance, the creme de la creme, the maker of all things. Behold, the Chrysanthemum. Fascinating. You say you built these things. You say they did not exist at some other time and place. We can't let you touch it.
If only it was a pair of feet. He'd be the one begging to touch it, not us.
For Chris' sakes, why are you all on about my love of footwear? You do that in most of your movies. It's a quirk about you. For instance, I have a quirk too. Let us not bring up the furry collectibles, please. I was talking about my fetish for tall, dark, and handsome men. Oh, I knew that, yes. And furries. Lots of furries. You know, I was looking into that weird mission from DS4 some of you guys were recently on, and it's curious that the story that they seem to reiterate in our current period had existed over 25 years ago, and that it happened on the station 25 years ago as well, and it happened again. Is that possible? This device is a trans-dimensional thing, and that Cisco originally destroyed it, and it was pushed forward in time to where it reappeared, or it was again destroyed. Nah, that's silly. It's more likely that they just made another one. They just happened to have one because they built them. If you eliminate the impossible, the improbable, however unlikely, must therefore be the truth. It does seem reasonable that it's a time travel device. It's more likely it's trans-dimensional in nature. Oh, really? Or it could be a really, really crappy fake. Who knows? Nobody lets him touch it. Not even the leader guy can touch it. He's probably just going to say it's a fake knockoff. How dare you accuse us of making a knockoff? A lot of this stuff is fake, though. I'm scanning several cheap plastics in the items inventory. No, that makes sense. The Sigma Iotians are imitative. They can't exactly reproduce mystical items, but that would suggest, of course, that they had some contact with them before. They had to use something to base it on to make things right. I wonder how they do it. How they even created cars and guns. As they said, you know, it is possible there's some sort of matter of conversion that allows them to go in and scan something. And even though they can't see all of it in 3D, they can make a perfect replica, or at least an imperfect one.
So you're saying that half the stuff they were using when Kirk was here, and when the Fontana was here, were generally cheap fakes? No. They had to reinvent anything with this technology?
In our exposure to the far future, where we went to the Fallen One's planet, we encountered something called programmable matter. But you don't know how the Federation obtained this programmable matter. But it seems to be fairly rare on the other groups, or on the other planet. Is it possible that it originated on this world? It's possible. It seems to be preserver gel stuff matter, this proto-matter. Perhaps an early form. We should report him. Captain, I believe they have a strange situation here, regarding the alien that happened. Do we need to bring you up? The leader wishes to visit the ship. Considering how they tend to copy everything they see, somehow without even knowing it, it would be inadvisable to let them see modern Federation technology on a vessel.
Very well. I will allow one of my senior officers to beam down to the planet. I will remain here on the ship because I'm the head cheese up here.
The lady's smart, yeah. I think we met her before, Chief. Oh, yeah, that's true. The lady with the thing. The slug inside her tummy. Yeah. She was with the Fontana visiting. Yeah, she was with that blonde fella, yeah.
Yes, so you're still the big boss down there. Well, Mr. Mahoney, you have the bridge.
Captain, it's not advisable for you to beam down to the planet.
You have a better idea?
I'll beam down to the planet. Why? Because it'll be fun.
Yes, it's probably better for the senior officer to remain on the ship. Very well. Mr. Mahoney and Tendi, beam down to the planet and find out what's going on there.
We will wait for your arrival. Roshenko out. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind so far. This place has adopted Starfleet uniforms.
It appears so.
Yeah, you know, they use the metric system in Europe. So when you go to order McDonald's in Europe, and you want to get a quarter pounder, they don't say quarter pounder, yeah. So yeah, they say something else. Yeah, because they use the metric system. You're going to go to McDonald's in Europe, and you're going to have to order a Royale with cheese. What? You're full of crap. There was never a Royale with cheese. It's from the movie Pulp Fiction from the 1990s. They didn't even do a commemorative for the movie on its 30th anniversary. No, it's not true. They never called it that. Jeremy, you were from France. Tell me, did they have a Royale with cheese there? How should I know? It's 400 years later. But it would, and I do know. No, they don't. Oh yeah, I'm beginning to think that our guide is full of shit.
The quarter-pounder hamburger is still called that today at the European Space McDonald's.
Smarty pants. Careful with this one, Tendy. He might want to see your feet.
My feet? What for?
Ignore him. Swearing man is kinky about feet. Well, the lad would nae want to smell mine, ho. After wearing these boots all day, smells like septic grunge in there. Oh. Women's feet, Mr. Mahoney. He's particular. That is a little weird. It could have been worse. They could have misquoted from Ezekiel and said a long diatribe mixed in with Psalm 23. Instead, they could have said, "For I am the Lord who strikes down with vengeance my enemies," and so forth. And then they would know that I am the Lord when I rebuke them and strike them down, or something to that effect.
That line did not originate from Pulp Fiction. It's from the Bible.
Curious. I would know about that. How would I know about that? It's 400 years later. I guess you would. It's a mob planet without being a mob planet. Maybe they're trying to avoid some copyright problem. Or doing anything violent. Besides, it would be improper. It appears the Fontana crew is down here. It seems so, some of them anyway. Another guy here. Rumbly, you wouldn't happen to know anything about this, would ya?
I would. I took command of the ship and brought it here, mainly due to going on a mission to avoid facing that inevitable going back to Cal Hazel. And I didn't want to. Not because we did anything, but I was the one that ran off. I can just tell you, I wasn't ready.
Yuck.
How would you know? You're as incel as they come. Critical Vitriol.
Yeah, that's not nice. We're on a mob planet. We're supposed to be acting like mobsters. Yeah, you see. You just put all your enemies in cement boots. You know, they didn't actually do that back then. You know that would be too expensive, for concrete and all. Especially on this planet, where I said there wasn't enough concrete. Oh yeah, they probably just tied a guy down with a cinder block back in the day. Just threw him in and then he was swimming with the fishes. Well, swearing man, I heard a story about you that one time you met the legendary David Letterman. One time and you threatened to hit him with a baseball bat. But only when after meeting him in person, you backed off. Oh, I'm not really going to do that. You backed off. You backed off. No, I was only kidding. Besides, his posse was there to back him up. Well, at least I hope it doesn't end up like Reservoir Dogs or the Killers movie get ripped off. Oh, we'll bring Shatner over here and call it Kill Bill. Well, I guess the rest of you boys could be called the Hateful Eight. Enough with the references, guys. What's the reason for my coming down here? You're just quoting from movies and making fun of Critical Vitriol. Well, I am an easy target. Maybe the commander would like to also see the stash and the holy books and the rest of the stuff. We can make a deal, see? A deal about what? They appear to want slipstream tech and quantum tech. We didn't do anything, they just asked about it. The planet needs to become more self-sustaining, yeah. And if these guys don't cooperate, we can make them swim with the fishes. Most of your guns are toys. Well, I'd imagine you'd made actual guns by now, but still. They even have reverse-built an atomic reactor. It is not leaking, surprisingly. This planet is insane, sir. So is there a point to all this? Yes, sir. It appears the planet is run by pretend mobsters. They're not at all like the ones Kirk and crew encountered over a century ago. They seem to be imitating. What is that to us? I mean, super. Not too sure what they might do next. Yeah, Yoshi, you and the guys, are we gonna make a deal or what? Yes, well, as first officer on the Chimera, I can't really hand over classified information to you, including slipstream drives and photon torpedoes and stuff. We're not gonna do that. The Federation doesn't do that. It's against the Prime Directive. That's unfortunate. It's now he's showing you the stash, and yet you don't want to give up the secret stash you have. Well, I do have a secret stash. But it's not photon torpedoes. It's booze. I'm listening. Yeah, well, I've got the good stuff. I'll give you the good stuff, if you show me one of your holy relics. Well, we do that anyways, but all right. Show them the holy relics. Take them to the place that we showed the others. And show them what we've been hiding. as it's no secret. We like to brag, or at least I do, all the time. But boss, we can't show them the holy relics. Then they'll know about what's going on here, because we like to read. Yeah, but that's how we imitate things. We're able to visualize what we read into reality. One doesn't make sense, but that's how it works. How are they able to do that? Never quite made any sense. Even when they read Chicago mobs of the 20s, they shouldn't have been able to assimilate what they were actually reading into actual vehicles and things. Makes no sense. And weapons and costumes and all that? They'd have a lot more than that.
Well, we're here to figure that out.
Why would the preservers bother to save a society that was imitating mob culture from Earth's 1920s?
Huh. And on Sillian Earth, it's the 2020s.
Huh. Does that have anything to do with it, I wonder? Yeah, I gotta wonder. Well, I, swearing man, could go on about how the nature of movies and the creation of art and art through theater and art through ancient pictures makes everything possible, but it won't. Your thoughts create reality again? Hey, that can't be that easy. A silly track planet before there was a silly track. How does it even happen? Well, then there's the Columbia Ventura, the ship that existed before the other ones, and 100 years before Kirk and the crew or so went off on a mission in space. And then somehow it got morphed into the ship that was only 10 years before, and somehow, yes, it is very confusing. How is that even possible? I've never asked the question, what is silly track? That is a non-answer. And now we return to the sacred vault of the peoples. Here in the secret vault is the mysterious book, which started the whole thing. Does beg the question, why would an Earth book, in Earth language, be noticed by an ancient, strange alien species? I never asked or explained it.
I have a question.
Shoot.
How does James Messy, one of the original Sillians and de facto founder of the Borg themselves, end up on the mob planet?
Well, I didn't intend to start the board themselves. It was Hazel and Holter. COL and Carr, wherever they were calling themselves now. And Colin, Marked or something. Yeah, it was them. They started it. Case? Not the case. He's from Pine Hill in the 1980s. No, duh. Of course he is. He's not one of us. Spending the perfect choice to play the new boss. How does that make him the boss? Well, you see, no one else wanted to do it after the Changeling left. After Odo left. Went on his merry way. Besides, my Sillian powers are limited because of my various medical conditions. That's right. He apparently has some unusual mental and physiological differences from other Sillians. When he was younger, he was kind of pathological. Well, I grew out of that. I no longer think that I have a battle robot tank. I instead now have a planet, which is better than having a tank. I think I also thought I had a bazooka. Yeah, well, anyway, I didn't. I can have many bazookas now. Why don't you go back to the Mesic planets? Who wants to go there? Everyone's bored besides my ex. And they're there. My other exes are there somewhere. Because, you know, it isn't just Hazel and Halter that thought to create reality. We all did, as well. Ha ha ha. Wow, so you came here because you saw an opportunity and took it. The reason Sigma Iotian can understand Earth culture and ride like they look like humanoids in every way and act like humanoids in every way is because it's not just that they're descended from the Horizon crew from the Encounter. They were descended from creatures that were able to morph into changelings. That's right, you have found a planet of the Dominion and the Founders. This planet, like some of the other ones, can create matter from nothing, or something to mold it together. No need to have a fake rice and ob. Indeed, huh? The whole planet can do this. This is how we were able to extrapolate the text that we were reading and transform it into an actual living, breathing society, and all the functions thereto.
Fascinating. So you could literally create any situation. You just thought mobsters of the 20s because you thought it was interesting.
That's from Kirk's perspective, you see. To him it was only the 1960s, about 40 years after the events of those and the other stories. To him it was the generation just before his. So he was like, oh, that's very interesting. See, in the 60s, this is the new generation. It'd be like the millennials thinking, oh, back in the 1980s, that was something. 30 years before that.
Well, I suppose the planet will eventually evolve into the 1990s and start adopting things like references to Power Rangers and stuff, and goth and grunge and things like that.
No, that's not how it works. We practically like certain groups and culture. It all stems from the ship. The other ship that crashed. Recently. Not the one that we procured a long time ago. We should tell them. We should tell them, yes, and show them the stash. Maybe then Mr. Mahoney will give us some of his booze. Boy, it'd be the best Scotch whiskey in the area. I've got it brought in the ship that brings it over here now and then. Not some of that Jack Daniels stuff. Oh, well, no, not Jack Daniels. That's American whiskey. I'm talking about more Scotch from Scotland. Your Blighter, Talisker, McClellan, or Artburg. Got 'em, yeah. What do you think? I drunk the Artburg just recently. Yeah.
But Foster's, it's Australian for beer.
No, Sheila, that's Australian for piss. Aye, Talisker is a warrior's drink. I am glad you liked last year's Christmas present, Mr. Roshenko. Yes, it is almost as strong as blood wine. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. Oh. Get him, get him. James Messy, you stole the control of the planet from us. We've come to kick your butt off the planet. We're the true leaders of the planet. You cannot show them the stash. Hey, you weren't doing anything with it. And I came here and you were all a distracted mess. You had traded you out. Even if I was making up most of it, like some cheesy senator in the early 2020s, making up stuff about how awesome he was. I'm not being affronted by characters who attempt to lie more than me. Huh, well, you think you're so clever, but as the last act villain in the story who shows up randomly to explain the whole thing, I'm here to arrange your, well, how shall I say, execution, yes. I know you won't. Starfleet people are here. The Starfleet people, they're not a threat. We knocked one of their ships out of orbit.
Well, it kind of fell out of orbit because the orbit was decaying. You guys actually didn't hit it. I would know. I was on the bridge when it happened. Yeah, and Hazel had left me in charge of the ship and didn't want out. And yeah, well, it's not my fault. I don't technically fly ships.
The doll is right.
I'm not the doll. I keep telling you that. Emily Sandstone is the doll.
I know that that's an expression anyway. You're all going to be summarily put before a firing squad with a machine blasters, and you'll all be taken out in the tradition of our people. This guy is ridiculous. I'm going to explain the whole thing to you, solved at the last minute. You'll realize how you've been duped by the smartest guy in the room. Well, I'm the smartest guy in the room now that Cottle is dead on the planet Mars. Yeah. Anyway, you're all going to be cacked. How did he even come out here? Didn't this guy die on Deep Space 4? He's a changeling. That is not an answer. It could be one. He could have faked his death, being that in fact he has changed. He could have even evaporated or something afterward. I, swearing man, have kept my composure until now. Grow fresh from the singing, you two key-looking people. You two-bit hoods. Yeah, you and Slasher Flash. Yeah, Darshan Plugin. Deucey Flex. You slither, Britain. You make love to tiny shoes. And your father. Just click on Flickr. You would die in store luckies. You Charlie boys here. One soul-eyed pumper remnant. You pumpernickel. You Scrooge. Flickster hours.
What's with the swearing that isn't swearing? It sounds ridiculous. And then again, this whole planet is ridiculous. What am I saying? You guys are like trying to half-mention movie quotes and stuff and getting them wrong. I would know.
They want to make sure they don't get flagged off YouTube by the bots, so they swear like 5th graders or something. Are you kidding? I've heard some 5th graders with some real potty mouths. In either case, she'll all be summarily brought before the trial of the kangaroo court. They're not really kangaroos, but that would be cool. And anyways, you'll be summarily executed. Take them to the space vessel. We will execute them in front of our great shrine to the ship that brought the people of Sigma Iotian here. It shall be glorious. Onward. Even I didn't think of that. You'd think that they would have noticed something as large as a space vessel down on the planet, especially a generation ship. I mean, come on. No, even our sensors would have picked it up. Same technology that keeps us as humanoids and all that. I was going to be used to cloak something that literally is half a mile long from your sensors. Actually quite advanced, but just didn't have some particulars such as the means to get off the planet. Can't we strike a deal? I mean, I have lots of riches on my other planets. You can have some of them. I'm going to give you a moon or something. Unlikely story. You'd probably just sell us the moon where your ex lives. Well, we don't want that planet. She lives there, yeah. Oh, huh. How'd you figure that out? You know you can't out-con a con, man. There's a lot more of them than us. However, we shall take them with our superior Starfleet weaponry. This is supposed to be a diplomatic mission. You seem to have botched it up quite well, after only having a few drinks on the planet. Oy. I am not inebriated, sir. I am annoyed at them. I'm tired of this ridiculous context, where we're just rambling on as if we're in some kind of Quentin Tarantino movie. Land sakes, man. We are in a fake imitation of a Quentin Tarantino movie. Well, technically, we're in a parody of a Quentin Tarantino movie. After all, this one doesn't have a lot of naked feet in it. It doesn't have like a abrupt space battle at the end. And all I said, unless it's right here on the ground, old Western style, shoot 'em up, bang bang. And I, the righteous, shall strike down them with the falls or something. And then I've forgotten, because I don't remember how the line goes anyway. Get 'em! Get 'em? Really? You gotta come up with a better catchphrase. What are they shooting at us? I'm not sure. Either way, we're shielded or they're just shooting blanks, because this is a set. Well, just as long as they don't have a prop gun, like a real one on the set. Because then some actor guy might accidentally shoot the assistant director. And that'd be probably that guy over there. And then there's this long court case, and they'd be really drawn out, and then the civil case, and all that, and you get the idea. Look up ahead. That thing just decloaked. What is that? My God! As I've never said. I think you've been hit over the head too many times with a space heater. Ha ha. It would appear to be the original ship that brought them all here, hundreds of years ago. It's one of the lost ships of the second batch of ships that were sent from post-atomic Earth.
And the company that brought it here and blazoned on the hull, Sigma Iotian. It can't be that obvious. They're coming in from all sides. They're gonna box us in quick. Get in there in the open and get up to higher ground or something. Oh, screw it. I've been hit. I see their feet. Their feet! What is he doing? It would appear he's near enamored of footwear. That's very weird. Are you sure he's not a Tarantino flick after all? No, he's been listening, and this episode is all in good fun. Continue to whack them as we get toward the ship. Find your heaters like guns to get them closer, so we can line them up and corral them and get them there. Behold, the horizon. As you can see, it's not what Kirk thought. The original predates the later vessel, the one that gave us the mob book. The ship is from the mission, from the ships of the lost Earth. That would explain how you were humanoid and know English. It wasn't just the preservers that seeded the galaxy. It was our ancestors. And did you know that Florida was merely a typo, and they never changed it? It was supposed to be Florida. And far out isn't just merely far out. Yeah, the Andover wasn't just headed there. This other faster ship got ahead of it, but they were devastated, and Andover ship saved it. I heard about that. The faster ship bickered amongst themselves and destroyed each other. Same thing happened here, but the changelings showed up and changed all that. Everybody, guards, catch them. Don't let them get inside the bridge. They'll find out what's going on, and then we'll all be ruined. They'll have their own secret displayed for all to see. The Federation will know that we're all a sham show, charlatans, salutations. What's that other word? Shysters? I thought you'd never get here. Admiral Cal Hazel, what is going on here? Please explain how you're here, and why the ship has crashed and all that. Why are you here?
I think I'm going to completely explain myself before I explain other things. Well, I might not. I figure it was the last place you'd look in the last act. You look lovely right now.
Oh no, you're not going to get away this time. I'm going to keep an eye on you, stud.
Somehow I don't think we're part of the discussion anymore. You know what I mean. Darn it. Why doesn't he just admit it? They love each other. I don't even think she wants to admit it. But yeah, I do. I don't care if you don't care. Whether, want to go on another date or something? Yeah, we could. That is, go on it. Another date or something. Doesn't matter because I control half the Sillian universe. A little overwhelming, yes.
You control the Sillian universe? Heh, no. The Q control the Sillian universe. You just think you do. You and Holter over there. No, you're not. You're even more pretentious than the Sigma Iotians.
Aye, that's not nice. Look, are you going to kiss and make up now or later? Just do it, because this is getting really convoluted and pretentious, and besides, who's there? No other you know any hotties around here? Well, my actual wife might show up if she hears about this, and yeah. Don't worry, Jamie. I'm sure she doesn't care. Now what were you saying,
So, before, when you were sure that you were unsure that what people would think if the commander of the ship made out with his first officer right now, at the one time of the ship, you do want to kiss me, Captain. Admiral, no?
And you might ask, what does a demigod need with a starship? But I'm not. I'm not a god. I'm a Q. So, but I do not want to manipulate the situation. No, not going to do it. In fact, I'm not manipulating the situation now. The Sigma Iotians are, right now. You're dragging this on an awfully long time. Forsaken, for crying out loud. Just pucker up. Frankly, my dear, about those other people, I don't really give a damn. Shut up and kiss me. Well, I think we'll just leave these two lovebirds alone for now. I see the battle's over anyway. Mahoney to Chimera. The situation is fine. Whatever.
Gee, that was fast. What's going on down there?
It is a little difficult to explain, but the battle was halted when Cal Hazel showed up at the last minute to get back with his girlfriend.
Okay, then. I trust that since I scanned the founder of the Dominion operative that's down there, is he with you, standing there, too?
He is down there. Yep, Vita Cola is alive. As for Hazel and Rumbly, they should get a room, as we should bring them back to the ship, so they can do that. Also, the Fontana is down here, crashed on the planet. Probably need to recover that too, Captain. Yeah, also we have the planet Sigma Iotian. We got a piece of your action, Captain. Seeing as how was about to whack your crew, but we decided that we would just pretend to do it at them. All the fun, because we actually backed off. Because we're kinda, whacked like that. Yeah. Just like I did with David Letterman. Funny how that goes together. Also, I'll leave the planet in their capable hands. There are other things they can do, Captain.
Captain's log, supplemental. The Sigma Iotians have agreed to hand over Messy and Hazel, and Rumbly, and to recover the Starship, Fontana, from the surface. Apparently it can land, so all we must do is fly to the surface. Meanwhile, it appears that we have discovered, on the planet, the existence of the ship that brought the Sigma Iotians company vessel here, and it happened to be called the Horizon, which is probably why the ship 100 years later came to the planet. Anyway, all is well.
Captain, the recovery vessel should be able to pull the Fontana off the surface shortly, and then we can move out. As for the one on the planet, centuries old, we'll just leave it there.
Well, good work down there, surprisingly.
It wasn't my fault, Captain. We were successful, even though most of it was silly and rambled on for some time. I did find the experience rather fun, Captain.
Well, I'm glad you had fun, Mr. Roshenko. Well, we missed this one. Hopefully we won't miss the next one. We can't go on all the missions. Besides, we wanted to let the adults have their fun for once, even if it was really bizarre from what I hear. And I heard that some of the greatest Sillians in history were down there, and 2 of them got back together, so they had fun too. Oh my.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, was it as good for you as it was for me?
It was fascinating.
What? I was only fascinating? Ugh.
Well, as an omnipotent overlord of the Q, you're a second. Because what appears to be any pleasure can happen. However, in this case, I let myself go.
That you did. Well, hey, maybe next time I'll not just be number 2. I'll be number 1.
But then you might come back looking for a piece of our action. Now that you're Q as well.
I was always Q. You thought you were the only one playing in the sandbox. Well, most of us are as well. So there you go. Even when I showed you my cooter at play practice one time, and you didn't reciprocate.
A universe sandbox, yeah. I'm not through with you yet. And to see my cooter more intimately. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.